Hi. Last time I told you about your protective brain block, the overzealous brain nanny that protects you from ideas or facts that prove you are or have been foolish, just to prevent you from feeling bad, which of course is costing you money. It is also the same brain part that panics and gets euphoric at the wrong moments, costing you more money. How best to stand up to it? By making money off the foolishness of others' brain blocks. And how to do that? By waiting for extreme market foolishness, the times when all the market fools act together, like lemmings. What are these? Lemmings are little furry creatures that, so goes the legend, all jump off the cliff together because everyone else is doing it. Every other lemming, that is. Who are the market lemmings? These are the small retail investors who pile into calls or puts just because everyone else does. Every other market lemming, that is. And of course, they do it massively at exactly the wrong times. They buy tons of calls as the market is about to peak, or buy massive puts when the market is close to the bottom. That is, they are the surest sign of panic and euphoria. How to track this? There's a simple ratio that shows what market lemmings are up to. It's called the call to put ratio, or what I call the Lemmings ratio. It's how many market lemmings are convinced the market is about to soar compared to those who are sure it will plunge. The bankers at JP Morgan usually track it, and so do I occasionally, just to see how to allocate my sleuthing time, whether to stocks worth buying or to stocks worth selling. How has this Lemmings call to put ratio done? Over the last few years, amazingly well, fluctuating between around 1.5 and about 2.4. Take a look. 4 years ago, December 2018, the ratio was at a low of 1.5, with all the lemmings sure the world is ending. The S&P at the time was at about 2330. Within exactly a year, or December 2019, the S&P had soared 700 points, and the ratio flew to 2.4, as the over-optimistic lemmings suddenly became sure it's going to the moon, and they all piled into calls. This, of course, was the pre-COVID top. 3 months later, February-March 2020, COVID hit the market, and the S&P shed 700 points quickly, taking all the lemmings' money down the drain with it. So the lemmings scrapped together whatever money they could borrow or steal and piled into puts, again sure the world is ending, one more time, which of course was the bottom, again. Over the next year and a half, from March 2020, the S&P rose 2,000 points to 4,350 approximately by August 2021 last year, at which point all the lemmings, what do you know, were again sure the market will soar forever, and they bought more and more calls, some on margin. So the Lemmings ratio rose again to 2.4, which of course was a temporary peak. From that peak last year, the S&P plunged to 3830 in June this year, 3 months ago. And today the Lemmings call to put ratio is again a low 1.6, again. And why is it low? Yes. Every market lemming is convinced the market will plunge much more because of the economy and Europe and the Fed and inflation and the US election. And did anyone say UFOs? Who knows? Or maybe the lemmings will be right this time? Well, they have been wrong every time before at the extremes. Today, the extreme says that if they are wrong again, the market likely will soar again. Will it really? I don't know for sure, of course, about the market. No one does. But I'm a bit more confident about where the lemmings call to put ratio is going. From 1.6 today, it is much more likely to go to 2.4 again than fall a bit further. And what happens if it does soar again as before? Let's speculate a bit. First time, as the ratio switched sides, the S&P rose 700 points. Then, as the Lemmings ratio swung again, the S&P dropped 700 points. And as the ratio swung yet again, the S&P gained 2,000 points. Then from August last year to June this year, the Lemmings ratio swung again from bottom to top, and the S&P dropped 500 points. can the S&P drop 200 points more to make the swing similar to the others? Sure it can, just to scare the rest of the lemmings some more. But it can also add 700 points or even 2,000 points like the last 2 times. In other words, from 3,900 today, the S&P can soar to 4,500 or even to 5,800, when all the surviving market lemmings would likely be convinced again it's going to the moon and be wrong yet again. By that time, if it comes, the lemmings ratio will likely be 2.4 once more, and if it is, I'll do another video clip about it. But just what can take the market up from here? Who knows? Maybe the Fed will pause, or maybe Putin will be deposed, or maybe the US government will announce free energy from UFOs. Who knows? What we can know is that the extremes of panic and euphoria, the lemmings' protective brain block, make sure they are all wrong. The mystery is, how do the lemmings do it? For example, how do they all know at the end of 2019 that in 3 months COVID will hit the market and so they all went long? Or conversely, how do the lemmings know in March 2020 at the depth of COVID that a year in the future the market will be up a lot and so they all went short? It is a mystery of self-sacrifice where the market lemmings self-immolate off the cliff so the rest of us would know what not to do. But just how do they do it? No one knows. Least of all the lemmings themselves, and luckily so, or they couldn't do their job, which is to be dead wrong at key market turns so the rest of us can avoid doing what they do. Right now, the lemmings are sure the world is ending and they are all buying puts. The last 2 times they did this, the market did just the opposite. Just as the 2 times the lemmings thought the market was going to the moon, they were also wrong. Or can they be right just this time? They might. I just don't think so. The lemmings' brain are just the same as they always are, always were, always will be. And if they still are, they are about to get slaughtered yet again, buying puts in a panic. Don't be a lemming too. Now is the wrong time to panic, no matter what your brain block says. Train yourself to oppose it by going against the lemmings and taking their money. That's all for today. If you like the clip, retweet it, subscribe to the channel, tell all your friends so they subscribe too, buy my book, The Sleuth Investor, and tell all your friends about it. I'll see you next time, and meantime, thank you very much for watching.